param drishtva nivartate. Only when one actually has some taste for spiritual existence can he be reluctant to follow the materialistic way of life. I'll read these two sentences again, and that's what the class is going to be on. One can give up material attachment, therefore, only when one has attachment for the Supreme Person. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Param dishtva nivartate. Only when one actually has some taste for spiritual existence can he be reluctant to follow the materialistic way of life. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी कृष्णभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining this morning's Bhagavad class. So we're going to be Prabhupada's purpose. It's actually pretty straightforward that we can only do detachment, material detachment, when there is spiritual attachment. So what Prabhupada is doing here, he's putting renunciation into context. Nowadays, it's become pretty popular, to be mindful, to be thoughtful, to be minimalist is what they call, reduce your need. Yes, all that is very good. But until and unless it isn't put into perspective, if it is not in connection with something higher, then it is just kind of languishing over there. There's no real substance to that. Though it is something really nice, all these things, mindfulness, thoughtfulness, simple living, high thinking. But until and unless there isn't a higher purpose behind that, it is only temporary. And we'll see this with Mother Devahuti's example. Hare Krishna. So the key points of this particular shloka is Mother Devahuti's renunciation. Renunciation means to give up, right? You give up something. Hare Krishna. So, what Mother Devahuti is doing, she's rejecting her material opulences in favor of spirituality. As we spoke earlier, there has to be something higher, right? So, all the material opulences, now her husband, Kardama Muni, he, through his yogic, his mystic powers, had built a palace for her. She had thousands of maid servants, thousands. Of course, she herself comes from a very royal family with all the privileges and comforts. But, on this path of spirituality, she served her husband, a great Vaishnava Kardama Muni, and she became totally emaciated. Uh, lost all lack of lust, everything. Where she had servants serving her, she was now the one doing menial services to for her husband. Uh, but then he said, okay, fine. He made this palace for her. She had apsaras, beautiful women who used to take care of every need of hers. And then he left to further pursue his spiritual path. And then, of course, their son was born. That is Kapila Dev, who is no other than Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he explained to her the Sankhya Yoga philosophy. And she wasn't at all attached to this material opulences. Why? Because she had that knowledge. She knows that there is something better. And having that higher purpose to pursue that, she rejected all the material opulences. Now, as we said, she was enlightened by her son. She had that knowledge. Most of us are unfortunate. We do not even know the purpose. What is the purpose? We do not even know who we are. We don't know our identity. We consider with this body and ahamta, mamata, I and mine, and everything attached to that. And that's what we are caught up in. So Kapila Dev, he made the Sankhya philosophy, which very clearly delineates what is matter and what is spirit. And that enlightenment, she says, what is all this? It's nothing. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted a great, great material opulence. He wanted a great, great kingdom and power. But after his instructions of his Guru Maharaj, Narada Muni, he had the self-realization, and he had darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says, I was looking for broken pieces of glass. All the material, it's just like broken pieces of glass in front of something, priceless diamond. So, how was it possible? She had that knowledge. How was it possible? Because she had this higher spiritual taste. What do we mean by getting a higher taste? Higher taste. All the time we may hear this. You have a higher taste. Higher taste is nothing but whatever we do in service of Krishna. Whatever we do, Krishna and Krishnas, whatever we do, right now we all serving our needs only, our sense gratification. So that is flickering, that is temporary, there's no satisfaction. But when we do it, there is full satisfaction. And that satisfaction is a kind of joy, that kind of bliss, it doesn't get over. I mean, the event may get over, but it's still there. So that is that higher taste. Hare Krishna. Then she was very sorry to see her son go. He also was departing from home. Now, one may say, you're so enlightened, you have so much knowledge, these are what is this kind of, you should be renounced. Then why is she getting? What this says is that she has strong attachment to God, her son. Kapila Dev, as we mentioned, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yes, every emotion, even anger, can be used. People have a feeling that spirituality means being a pacifist. No, pacifist is towards your own sense desires, your sense gratification. Be neutral and above, be indifferent to that. However, whatever we have, whatever skills, whatever emotions, whatever feelings we have, it can be used in the service of God, the principle of Yukta Vairagya, which we will discuss in a few slides from now. So she had this strong attachment for Kapila Dev. And that is what was making her feel sorry. Not that he's my son and he's leaving. No, that I had the close association of personal, upfront and personal uh, association of the Supreme Lord. And now he's leaving. And that was leaving her broken-hearted. Hare Krishna. And then we know, starting from Adao Shraddha, and it progresses how the path of devotional progresses, bhakti progresses. So, attachment, what we call asakti, is a precursor to love of God, which is the highest perfection of life. Hare Krishna. Now, here we also have a very important point, spiritual attachment versus material detachment. Actually, a person who's spiritually attached is detached from all things material. Right? So, this is possible material detach. Of course, we can try to be detached for some time, little time. It won't work. It's just temporary. Before the desires are so strong, Maya Devi will just trap us again. It will come. Bhagavad Gita it says, right, while contemplating the objects of the senses, right? one lust arises, then from lust frustration comes, right? So there are so many objects of the senses all around us, so many. Even if you close your eyes, you still, the mind is thinking about that. So that detachment, what we are talking about, is possible only when one is attached to God. Because when one is Krishna conscious, what does Krishna say? Always remember me, never forget me. When that state of mind, what happens in everything that we see is we see it in connection with Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then naturally, all these other things for sense enjoyment, gratification, they're no longer objects for us. We will look at it as, oh, how I can, you see a beautiful flower, you'll say, instead of plucking it and giving it to my girlfriend or to my wife or your beloved, you'll say, oh, I can offer this to Krishna. How happy Krishna will be. What a beautiful flower this is. Something like that. Hare Krishna. Now, in absence of spiritual attachment, it is temporary. All this detachment, it doesn't accomplish nothing. It means nothing, literally nothing. Hare Krishna. So, here is real renunciation versus fake renunciation. There's a very nice site you could go here. Mahavishnu Goswami, a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he has written an essay on this renunciation. So it's called Vairagya. Renunciation, the Sanskrit word is Vairagya. It's a compound word. V means opposite, Raga means attachment or deep passion. So the opposite of attachment, what is opposite of attachment is detachment. Hare Krishna. So there is this type of Vairagya. One is called the Falgu Vairagya. There's a river called Falgu, in Gaya. And on the banks, usually the river has banks, right? The river bank. So if actually the um, uniqueness of this river is the bank has sand, but if you put your hand underneath the sand, it is all water. So on top it appears sand, solid, but you put it a little bit underneath, it has, so that's where it has come Falgu Vairagya. It appears to be solid, but it really is not, right? So in this Falgu Vairagya, there is something called Markat Vairagya, like a monkey. Prabhupada says the monkey is also like a total renounced Babaji. Total renounced. He's naked. He roams around in the forest, lives in the forest. Correct. He eats, berries, fruits, and roots, things like that. However, the monkey is all the time looking to have companionship of female monkey. So he appears renounced, but he's fully engaged in sense gratification. So people have this understanding that, oh, someone who wears orange means he's renounced. Yes, orange is symbolic of sacrifice. I have sacrificed my sense desires for a higher purpose. That is what the orange represents. But you don't have to be wearing orange. You could be a grasti, you could be a student, you could be anybody. It's a state of consciousness, correct? So here is this Markat Vairagya is one type of Falgu Vairagya, and the other is Smashan Vairagya. Last week, last Thursday, my cousin, a very dear cousin of mine, he passed away. He was riding his scooter in Pune, and then he came to a traffic jam, and he was with his wife. He just collapsed. He just fell down and he passed away. See how an ordinary event, he was going to a friend's house, he passed away. And then the whole family, of course, it is upset. There is this attachment. Again, this attachment is with the body. We remember such nice times we had, this, that, whatever it is. And people then become very philosophical whenever death occurs. Death is like a pause, like a comma. We're all so busy engaged in sense gratification, and then there is this little comma which comes. And that comma, people stop to think that, oh, what is this? It's all futile. We all make all these plans. When death will come, nobody knows. And then they say that, yeah, I should be doing something more than whatever I'm doing. But that's okay. By the time you come back home, you have your bath and whatever else is there. A little while, it's all forgotten. Hare Krishna. Then there is another one, the real type of Vairagya called Yukta Vairagya. Okay, Yukta means to be linked, but linked to what? So Maharaj has explained, using everything in service of Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is the owner of everything. So simple. Using everything in service of Krishna because Krishna is the owner of everything. And whatever is used for Krishna serves its true purpose. And Maharaj gives this example. There is a plow. You know what is a plow? Hull, which uh, Balram, Lord Balram, he has that, right? He's called Haladar. That he has that hull. That's his weapon. That hull. What is the hull used for? The hull is just kept over there. You try to use the hull to dig a hole in the ground. Will it work? No. How does the hull work? The hull is serving its true purpose only when it is attached to the bull. And when it is attached to the bull, you can nicely plow the field, sow rice or grains or whatever else you do. Similarly, like this, everything, including a body, mind, everything, uh, material, spiritual, everything has to be connected with Krishna. And that is the Yukta Vairagya principle, where whatever is favorable should be accepted and whatever is not favorable should be rejected. Hare Krishna. So, how to get materially detached and spiritually attached? Now we have knowledge, so we want to know how to put it into practice. Otherwise, what good is it? This knowledge will just satisfy the intellectual, feel good, will be all warm and fuzzy. Yeah. So, most important is always, dear devotees, keep in mind whatever we learn, we should have the desire that how can I put this into practice? So, the question is about vairagya, which means getting materially detached. That is possible only when we get spiritually attached. So, the first thing is jnana. So, Kapila Dev instructed Mother Devahuti what is matter, what is spirit. We need to have that basic understanding, first of all, knowledge, spiritual knowledge. We need to be able to very clearly understand what is material, what is spiritual. Like we do so many activities. An act per se, dear devotees, is neutral. The purpose for what it is being done, the benefit, what it results in, for whom it is being used, will decide whether it is material or whether it is spiritual. If it is done for ahamta mamata, if it's done for I, me, myself, mine, extensions thereof, then that is called material, which is a trap. If it is done, the same act is done for pleasure of Krishna or to serve his devotees, that becomes spiritual. So all these material acts are karma, vikarma, and all these spiritual acts are uh, akarma. There's no reaction at all. Hare Krishna. Now, you have the knowledge, as we discussed, it has to be put into practice. Until unless it's not put into practice, it is like there's honey in the jar. We can see honey, oh, nice golden color, right? But until and unless we do not experience the taste of honey, what do we know about honey? Nothing. Means nothing, right? So with Gyan comes Vigyan, the practical realization of the practical implementation of knowledge. And of course, this cannot work. Most important is Kripa. There has to be mercy. In absence of mercy, no matter what we may try, no matter how austere we are, no matter what sacrifices we make, there is just no progress at all. So these three things are very important. Of course, like Romapad Maharaj says, mercy is there for everybody. Mercy is there for everybody. Then what is the need to qualify for mercy? The need is simply for us, a sadhana. It's there like sunshine everywhere. We are sitting in the basement, dark, correct? Sunshine doesn't discriminate whether it is on a Brahmana, whether it is on a Mlecha, or whether it is on stool, or whether it is on a rose. Sunshine doesn't discriminate. It's there available for everyone. We, through our choice, are sitting inside the basement, not wanting to get out in this. What is that basement? This sense gratification. So when we make that effort to climb the steps from the basement and come out, it's available for us. And that climbing of the steps is our sadhana. It's the ABCD, association, sadhu sangha, books, chanting, diet, these practices which we do. So these is what is important, Gyan, Vigyan, and Kripa. And like they say, by mercy of Krishna, one gets Guru, and by mercy of Guru, then one gets Krishna. So, this you all devotees are aware of the steps faith, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya. Like this, you finally come to pure love of God. So, when that attachment happens, that taste will come, that attachment, taste brings attachment, and we can't live without it. Hare Krishna. So, recapping all this is Prabhupada's nicely has given these instructions on what is renunciation. One is renunciation with knowledge, basis of Yukta Vairagya. What Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami's instruction, accept whatever is favorable for Krishna's service, reject whatever is not. Then Falgu Vairagya, we renounce whatever are the material objects and in duties. No, no, this is not me. I'm renounced. But it can be used instead in Krishna's service. There is this example. There was a man who was practicing non-violence. And somebody asked him that, oh, if a child or a woman is being assaulted and molested by some gundas, will you go and intervene? He says, no, no, I will not use violence, whatever be the circumstance. I will not use violence. I'm peaceful, no violence, no violence. So that other man said, you're shameless. You are the most violent person ever. So, yes, even in everyday things, we know that there is the right thing, the right action to do. Yeah. So, that is what Falgu Vairagya is. Falgu Vairagya is we just renounce. Sometimes we renounce as a sake of escaping. So many responsibilities. Oh God, I can't handle it. Oh, now I'm renounced. It's like a ostrich which puts its head into the sand. That is not renunciation. Then renouncing the false ego and material desire. Prabhupada says that real renunciation is ahankara. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Surrender, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. What is that surrender? What are we surrendering? What is it that is ours that first of all we have to give up? There's nothing which is ours. What is there is this ahankara, that false ego. We have to surrender that false ego and the sense of being controller and enjoyer. Of course, all this comes through free will. So what we are doing is willingly we are rejecting these things. Then detachment without apathy. Sometimes uh, renunciation makes us hard-hearted. No, you can't be indifferent. You can't be indifferent to people around you. No, no, I'm now a devotee, all these things. You're in Maya, Prabhu. No, someone is suffering. It's our duty to help alleviate someone's suffering. You can't be neglectful of one duty. You can't run away from that. However, whatever we are doing, we should do it in devotion. That's it, and not be attached to the results. I'm more focused in doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and the results, whatever comes, good, bad, ugly, it is Krishna's will. And then the practical renunciation, right? Prabhupada gave this. Renunciation is where everything you use in Krishna, that's the practice. We are using the internet, we are using Zoom, these are all technologies, correct? What is it doing? It is to bring people closer to Krishna, it is to help us develop ourselves spiritually. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, we have about 5 minutes. If anyone has a realization, comment, or a question, we can address that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Over to you, Madhupati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. You have explained very well. So we can apply in our life everything to the Krishna consciousness. And always remember Krishna never forgets. You gave a nice message to us.
Yeah, this is the actually I was reading. It is the topmost instruction. Everything else is subservient to this. So whatever we are doing, Jnana, Vigyan, everything this is the topmost. Always remember him, never forget him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Amritananda.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. The Parna time today is from 7:11 to
7:19, na Prabhuji?
7:19.
Yeah, I think Krishna Nama the Prabhu.
Yeah, 7:19 to 10:25 a.m. It's there on our calendar. 7:19 to 10:25 a.m. is the Pana time for breaking of fast. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Rama Rama.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama.
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama.
Nrsingo, Jai
Jai
Nrsingo,
Jai
Jai
Nrsimha, Jai
Nrsingo, Praladesha, Jaya
Prahladadesh, Jai
Padma, Mukha Padma Bringam,
Ugra
Ugra
Vira
Ugram
Veera
Veera
Mahavishlam
Mahavishlam
Jalatam
Jalatam
Mahavishlam
Sarvatomukam
Sarvatomukam
Mukham
Nrsimha
Narsingham
Nrsinghambhishana
Bhadram
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 Vidyam
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 Namaham.
Namaham Nrsinga Bhagwan ki jai,
Vijay,
Prahlad Raja ki jai.
Jai,
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
Kripasya
Sindhu
Kripa
Bhaya
Sindhu Bhavecha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha.
Vaishnavinda ki jai, Granth
Jai,
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai,
Jai,
Pada ki jai,
Namo.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande
Hari
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 Bo.
Hari
Hari
Thank
Bo.
you,
Bo.
Abhitanda Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank
you
you, everyone.
everybody. Hari
Hari Bo.
Bo.
Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.